Thanks, Becky. So again, this is the CSBG's quarterly call for the first quarter of program year 2024. We've got myself, Alex Diaz with the Colorado Department of Local Affairs, CSBG Program Manager, as well as Becky Sad, CSBG Program Administrator, and Josiah Massengale, the Colorado Community Action Association. Our esteemed partner and colleague is also on the call and will be presenting on the second half. So we will go ahead and jump right in. Thanks everybody for being here. So the first update in regards to CSBG in particular is the federal poverty level. As of just this morning, we noticed that the new statistics were out. We check them regularly at the beginning of January so that we're getting that out to everybody as quickly as possible. So there are new 2024 federal poverty level tables available from the Health and Human Services federal partners. We have that posted on our website as per usual. And to clarify for folks who have questions, the 200% federal poverty level that was instituted as a result of CARES is still currently in place through February 2nd, 2024, due to the most recent continuing resolution passed in the budgetary negotiations that are happening at the federal level. So as for right now, we are not sure what happens. As you know, we're used to this sort of song and dance at this point. After February 2nd, it's unclear what the federal poverty level will be, if it will revert back to the 125% that is in the CSBG Act, or if another continuing resolution or maybe a final budget will change that. So of course, as soon as we can, we'll let folks know what is happening with all of that. But for now, just know we're good through February 2nd. And that updated federal poverty level is available. Please be sure that you're using it for your client income eligibility determinations. And also for folks who have subrecipients, please be sure that they're also operating under that new federal poverty level for 2024, because that is a major item at this point to ensure compliance that we're using the right federal poverty level. So if anybody has any questions, of course, let us know. Josiah, thanks for dropping the link in the chat. Moving on, at the administrative level, let's talk about contracts in 2024 option letter number 1. Thank you everybody for going through the recent CSBG application cycle, with the exception of, I believe, one contract that we're still working through some final things on. The contracts are fully executed for all of our eligible entities, with that one exception. Thanks for your patience. So you should now see a new project in the grants portal that was not there before, that has your federal fiscal year 2024 CSBG funding available. That was only a small initial allocation that we were able to disperse because of that continuing resolution budgetary situation that's happening. That first allocation is very small. It's only through November 11th or something. So, as the federal fiscal year goes, that's just over a month and a half. So not how it usually happens. So if that was a little weird or it took anybody off guard, that's why that allocation was so small, because it only covered such a small period of time. So the OC, Office of Community Services, did release another Dear Colleague letter recently. December 15th, I believe, is when the second allocation of CSBG funding was made available. So there was that small initial allocation that we were able to use as your initial contract allocation with those new contracts. We have another small amount for the option letter number 1, which will be the first tranche of funds added to that 2024 contract. And those funds are through that mid-November date through February 2nd. So again, it'll be kind of a smallish allocation. I'm sorry that we have to sort of let it out in drips and drabs, but we can only disperse the money when we get it, unfortunately. So here, sometime by the end of February, I'm hoping that you'll have a second infusion of funds into your 2024 contract. And for folks who are new to the program, we call those option letters. So that'll be the first option letter for federal fiscal year 24 that adds more funds to that contract in the grants portal. Of course, if you ever have questions on that, let us know. We know it's a little bit of a moving target at times to know the timing and availability of funds. So we try to communicate really well about it, but if you have questions or you're unsure, let us know. And the grants portal does a pretty good job of compiling all those contractual documents and option letters and things so that you can go in and really take a look at each individual infusion of funds. So if you ever have questions on how to do that or where to find those so that you can really be sure that everything is reconciling, do let us know, please. Moving on, organizational standards. Once again, big thank you to everyone for completing the organizational standards for program year 2023. We've done our initial review of all of them, I believe. And so we have some deadlines in place for folks to get whatever revisions or notes that you might want to get back to us before we finalize the organizational standards scores. So we're hoping to have those organizational standards scores finalized by the end of February, and we'll let folks know this year where you fall by way of percentage met, because that percentage of organizational standards met score is one of the pieces that we do report up at the state level, reported up to the feds, so that they get a picture of our monitoring, compliance, organizational standards performance, sort of how we're doing overall. So we'll be finalizing those and emailing you your percentage so that you know for future reference. And the annual report, of course. We had our first annual report training last week. That was an adventure. So thanks for everyone who was able to join on that. Of course, we do more of the content in that training. So if you ever have questions on how to actually go into the THO system, what you report on, we have 2 separate trainings on both of those things available on our website. The initial submission is due February 14th, 2024 in the THO system. We do our best to go in there and review pretty quickly, do our checks, and get you initial state feedback within a couple of weeks so that hopefully you can get back to us on a fairly short time frame, and then we can finalize and send our data to our federal partners by March 31st, 2024. So another one of those processes that does have a lot of back and forth, and we appreciate everyone's timely response to the questions that we have. I think this process gets a little bit smoother and a little bit more clear every year is the hope. So as always, if you have questions or feedback on the process or what we can do better, any resources we can provide, let us know. We know it's a heavy lift. So and even as small, questions that may seem small come up in your preparation of the annual report, do reach out, because I think it's better to answer questions on the front end and be able to solve any uncertainty or questions people may have that they have to submit and then go back and do things. So thank you, everybody, for your attention to that very important matter. Next is the semi-annual report. This is a short report that we have linked in this presentation. That's why it's a hyperlink. And so it reports on the tripartite board. We do that twice a year so that we get a snapshot of your tripartite board and where it's at. So that is due via email to Becky and myself, but definitely Becky, by January 31st, please. It's a fairly short report, so if you have any questions or anything, let us know. And then the FFATA, this is just the time of reporting. So the FFATA, Becky sent out an email about that. It's a form that we're required to submit yearly, again, sort of up the chain. It's 3 simple questions, so if you can please respond to those as quickly as possible, we appreciate it. It's a fairly straightforward, simple form that does not require a lot of information or anything like that. So if you have any questions, let us know. Alrighty, Becky, did you want to add anything on that or anything else to report for the good of the order before we turn it over to the CCAA for their updates?
Covered it all. Thanks so much, Alex.
Thanks, Becky. And thank you, everybody, for your time today. Here's our contact information, as always, on the presentation. So I will hand it over to Josiah to present his portion.
Thanks, Alex and Becky, and good afternoon, everyone. Josiah Massengill with the Colorado Community Action Association. On top of the quick updates that DOLA had, we just have a few ourselves, so we'll run through these real quick. The first is the Affordable Connectivity Program, which is that $30 a month stipend for low-income households for broadband internet. We heard from the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, that they are winding down the program right now. Of course, if the program does get renewed by Congress over the next couple of weeks, then it will continue forward. But at this point, we have heard from the FCC that they're going to start winding it down actually this week. They're not going to accept any more new registrations for the program on February 7th. We at the CCAA are going to continue to register folks, but we're going to be very, very clear that the program is ending on February 7th. But our position on it is that as long as there's full disclosure that it most likely is going away very shortly, if folks want to sign up and get the $30 for a month or two, we want to help them do that. So we're going to continue doing that as long as there's full disclosure for those folks. They understand that it may go away. And we are working with our congressional delegation to inform them of the importance of the ACP program and hopes that it will get renewed by Congress. So we'll obviously keep you all updated on how that goes. It's tax time, and so we're gearing up to do our certified volunteer free tax preparation, what we call VITA. We can start, the IRS is going to start accepting tax returns on January 29th. We have VITA sites that provide IRS certified free tax preparation across the state. And some of those sites are opening up actually next week, and they'll start doing taxes, and then they'll submit those first returns on January 29th. You all should get this presentation after the meeting today, and there's some really great hyperlinks from the IRS that talk about VITA and talk about tax day, talk about the earned income tax credit. Also, there's our VITA.org site that has a functionality where folks can find the nearest VITA site to them, and that includes all VITA sites in Colorado. So please do take advantage of these resources. If you are working with households that may be eligible for VITA, and the VITA income eligibility, I believe it's right around $65,000 gross income per household. If they are eligible, please do make sure that they know about the VITA resources out there. And there are ways for folks to do their own taxes using free tax software through United Way and their free tax website. So for those that are a little bit more technologically capable, they could do them themselves, or they can go to a VITA site throughout the state and have a certified preparer do it for them as long as they have the proper documentation. So really excited for this year's Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program to get started. And please do let us know if we can connect you all with those resources, or if you need any information from us to pass along to your customers. Thank you. Some upcoming national and regional conferences that are taking place this year. There's a question in the chat about VITA. Will there be flyers for VITA? We are, I believe, putting out some flyers. There's also some IRS materials that are available. And we haven't, I don't believe, received the United Way's free tax preparation sites website flyer yet, but as soon as we do, we'll share that out there. So yes, there will be flyers for VITA. Thanks for the question. Upcoming national and regional conferences. This is an important year for community action. 60 years ago this year, President Lyndon B. Johnson, as part of his Great Society, created the War on Poverty and created community action. So this year, all of our national organizations are going to be talking about the importance of community action 60 years later. We really want to have good attendance from Colorado at all of our national and regional conferences. So if anybody would like to attend any of these and needs some financial support to do that, please let us know. We also really appreciate it when tripartite board members attend these conferences. And it's even appropriate when subrecipients attend some of these conferences, depending on which one. So if you have any tripartite board members or staff or subrecipient partners that are interested in any of these trainings, please let us know, and we will connect them with resources, and hopefully we'll have a strong Colorado contingent at all of these conferences. A couple of notes real quick. The NASCASP Winter Training Conference, I think those of you that have been in the network for a while know that NASCASP is our state office national membership organization. So they're going to be holding their conference in Arlington, Virginia, March 11th through the 15th. Our national lobbyist, the National Community Action Foundation, or NCAF, and David Bradley are having their legislative conference in Washington, D.C. that week as well. And we at the CCAA are going to hopefully be having some folks in attendance at both of those conferences. And then we're going to hopefully be meeting with all of the Colorado delegation in Washington, D.C. that week to educate them on the importance of CSBG and other community action related programs. So that's going to be a big week. And certainly if anybody has any desire to meet with our congressional delegations, especially if you live in their district, let us know, and we'd love to have you involved in those. And there will be more information coming out on that. Thanks, Liz, for that note in the chat about VITA. Region 8 is having a community action conference this year being hosted by our good partners in Utah at the Utah Community Action Partnership. It's going to be in Salt Lake City, July 29th through August 2nd. That week probably won't be the full week, but it will be that week. Again, we would love to have a strong Colorado contingent. Certainly those folks that reside out on the Western Slope, this might be a great opportunity for you to attend a community action conference with very little travel compared to what you probably normally have to endure. So please do consider attending the Region 8 Community Action Conference in Salt Lake City that week. Again, if you need any financial support to make that happen, reach out to us. The National Community Action Partnership's annual convention is going to be in Seattle, Washington. This is going to be the great big celebration for our network. That week in Seattle, the National Community Action Partnership is going to really have a wonderful convention highlighting all of the wonderful work that's happened over the 60 years. So please consider that as well. And then we are planning our statewide conference for the summer of 2025. Generally, we hold our conferences sometime in the later half of July. And we're looking at locations and dates now. So we'll keep you all informed once we get a location, once we land on the dates, so you all can start planning on attending. And again, we're going to want to have a good attendance from across the state at that. So please let us know how we can support you in doing that. We do have our 2024 Introduction to Results-Oriented Management and Accountability, or ROMA trainings, the virtual ones, scheduled through the summer. We'll be scheduling some more for later in the summer and fall as well. But if anybody needs to attend ROMA trainings, we have them planned in March and May. The virtual trainings are 3 hours for 3 separate days, 9 hours total. So you'll see that schedule there, and you can sign up on our website. We're still looking to do some in-person ROMA trainings this year. So if you're interested in bringing a full day of introduction to ROMA trainings for an in-person training to your community, please reach out to us. Love to get something scheduled, and it'll also be a great way for us to have some of our ROMA trainers in state continuously keep doing that in-person training so we don't lose that skill. We've been doing a lot of virtual trainings, but we believe that in-person trainings are very valuable as well, so we want to continue to do those. So reach out if you would like to host an in-person ROMA training in your community. And then lastly, we are planning a morning of the State of Colorado Community Action Virtual Town Hall, the morning of June 13th. This is going to be online. We're working on the program for this virtual town hall, but we envision it to be an update on where we are in Colorado around community action. The Colorado Community Action Association was actually incorporated in 1984. So not only are we celebrating 60 years as a network in community action, but the CCAA has been in existence for 40 years this year. And so we're going to be highlighting that and the work that's been accomplished over those 40 years, as well as highlighting different things going on in community action in Colorado. So that's going to be a great virtual town hall, and we'll be getting you all registration information just as soon as we have it. A reminder that the CCAA does have scholarships available to support training and capacity building. This might be professional development, it might be certification such as becoming a ROMA trainer or become a certified community action professional. Could also be for capacity building, so things that build the capacity of your organization. So if you're interested, we do have an application on our website, and you can apply, and we can hopefully work with you to do professional development and capacity building with these resources we have. And that's our quick update for today. Anybody have any questions for me?
Awesome. I love an efficient meeting. Great. Well, thank you again, everybody. We know CSBG has a lot of moving parts, and we appreciate that you all manage them so efficiently and effectively. So, as always, let us know how we can support you more. You're doing a fantastic job. Keep up the good work. And we'll summarize all of this in an email so that you have it in writing and you have the various links and things from our presentation. And you can also send to anybody who may not have been able to make it so that they are in the CSBG. Thank you, everybody. We hope that you have a fantastic day. And yeah, goodbye.
Thank you.